What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own review of Love and Marriage Detroit. This is season 2, part 2 of the reunion, and this could have been a one-parter. I don't know if I'm going to go off on my notes because I'm just frustrated that all of this was centered around Christina, Brandon, and Chelsea. Y'all hang this show up for real, okay? Because the first part of this reunion, they're all blaming Christina for not reaching out to Colby after she had her baby. But then, while they're trying to tell Christina how she needs to be a better friend, they're not recognizing that they have not been a good friend to Christina. Christina feeling no matter what I do, no matter how I'm trying to show and be a better friend, it's still going to be questioned as to if it's being real or not. And that's exactly how they treated her. Colby wants to say she's not pressed about not repairing her friendship with Christina, but obviously she is pressed because I don't think that anything happened that badly in their friendship that they could not repair it. I mean, if you still holding on to how Christina mishandled that Brandon from the first season, girl, please let it go. After she tried to explain it to you and apologize to you, you haven't let it go at all. We get to this season where she is trying to move forward with you. You want action instead of words. Okay, well, she invited you on a staycation. She planned a baby sprinkle for you. That all went down the drain because you expected for Christina to defend you when you was in the wrong, when you got involved into a confrontation between Latoya and Chelsea that had nothing to do with you. That wasn't going to happen. And now I think about it, Colby, it's very much showcasing how envious you were about the friendship between Chelsea and Christina because of how she's willing to defend her friend when her friend was wronged. That's what you missed. But since you're not saying it, you're just projecting all of your issues onto everything that has nothing to do with you because you want that attention back from Christina, but you're not expressing that. So when Christina comes over to Colby's side of the couch to have a real conversation, you can see how cold Colby was to her when explaining to her she did not mean to hurt Colby. She did not mean to reach out, but the energy you've been giving me, that has hurt me. I'm only human, and I am not going to be able to deal with this any longer. Then Colby had to say she has a hard time letting things go once people hurt her. And it's all due to the trauma that she endured from her father not wanting to be in her life, and that she still does not have a relationship with her father to this day. And is very blessed that she does have a stepfather that was willing to be a part of her life and is willing to be someone she can call a father. But I don't think that you need to put that on Christina. That's not Christina's burden to bear. That's your burden to bear. And that's something you need to go seek therapy about. You need to really get a handle on your abandonment issues. And if Christina has not set out to hurt you, she has not set out to do anything against you, you can't keep treating her as if she hasn't tried. And that's what's been bothering me all this time. So moving on from there, we get the setup on having Chelsea come on stage about how we got to this point where Chelsea is everybody else's storyline, if you think about it. You know how Anthony was the one who kicked things off. He called her a bird. You need to boss up. You need to be with different types of people. The fuck? And the ring shop situation where Chelsea called Latoya and Colby stooges. And then Colby wanted to use the pregnancy card. And then we get to the podcast situation. Anthony throwing shots. Latoya not being there to see how it all went down, but want to call Chelsea ghetto. Say that Chelsea acts ghetto everywhere she goes. Girl, please. So now once Chelsea gets to the stage, the first thing we do is address these said receipts that Latoya claims she has on Chelsea bashing her brand. Newsflash, she has no receipts, but she wants us to believe that she saw them and that they're real. But that's not enough. If you have no physical evidence against Chelsea bashing your brand, then all you did was adopt an issue to go after Chelsea because you want to do damage control for your husband, coming after a woman with all she did was ask him a simple question as to why he is so involved in someone else's marriage. That's it, that's all. Okay, so we saw a never before seen clip between Bravo and Chelsea about why she has been responding to Anthony in this way, and it's because she has dealt with emotional and physical abuse in relationships, and that was something that Bravo did not know, and he can't understand that when a man gives you that type of energy, it can bring up something from your past you've been trying to move on from. So Anthony now wants to be accountable by saying that he should not have said anything to her. He doesn't have any issues with her. He apologizes on his part. It should have been a follow-up with an apology from Latoya because you do realize that Chelsea didn't do anything to you. what you're trying to create between the two of y'all is not that deep, because you do realize that this all started from your husband. But for some reason, you turn a blind eye on the things he started, so you're looking for somebody else to blame. And how your only word to describe Chelsea is ghetto, but yet I'm sensing you're the one who's ghetto. And Chelsea took no offense of being called ghetto. She's like, I'm a Detroit native. It is what it is. And how she's trying so hard to paint this picture about Chelsea with the way that she's been acting, and only can go off on the podcast that she wasn't even there to witness. All you got was what was told to you. You didn't see anything. Then we get to the finale episode where Latoya and Chelsea were having a conversation. Colby jumped in and still doesn't believe she caused more of an issue when she should not have jumped in. Still wants to blame Christina for not jumping in and holding Chelsea accountable. What does she need to be held accountable for? She said this was a conversation between the two of them. There was no need for extra voices. If Latoya is addressing Chelsea about what was taking place and Chelsea is defending her name because Latoya wasn't there to witness it, then that's just what it is. Latoya, you're defending something that you wasn't even there to witness. You're only going off about what your husband told you. And I can already tell your husband spin things to fit his narrative, and you don't want to admit that you've been windmilling for this man when you know he's been the one starting the most shit with everybody. And what do y'all want Chelsea to be accountable for versus what she's already been held accountable for? And what do y'all want Christina to do? What help would it have been for Christina to jump in? The one thing she jumped in on was to tell Colby she should not have jumped in. This is an A and B conversation. See yourself on the other side, okay? How much do y'all want out of Christina? Whether or not Christina is in the right of doing something, you guys are already ready to say she's in the wrong about it. And I appreciate Brandon for stepping up and saying, nobody said nothing to Kim when she was coming at Christina that night at Bravo's dinner. Y'all all was on Kimberly's side when she called Christina a manipulator, a liar, everything in between. Colby, I find your reasoning full of shit. You think that because you didn't step in was because their issues are deep rooted? No. You didn't want to step in because you agreed with how Kimberly has described Christina's actions. Christina even said, everybody was happy I got my ass handed to me. Everybody was like, get her. And it's crazy how everything is still centered around Christina and how she operates in a friendship. So they asked Chelsea, has Christina been a good friend to you? She said, she's been there for me. Whenever I've been down, she has lifted me up. She's like my sister. I don't know what y'all was expecting for Chelsea to say. You thought Chelsea was going to be against Christina? For what? Like, make it make sense. Why are y'all trying to turn everybody against Christina? Because you guys are not in a good place with her. But it's not on Christina's fault. I believe it's on y'all's fault. Chelsea's time has come and gone. You see Anthony and Latoya. Make sure they're being seen, being apologetic towards her. Because Anthony was like, I'm very sorry. I did not mean for it to go this far. I wanted to stay good. She said, we good, we good. I do believe that this is something that y'all wanted to do to appease to y'all's image. Because y'all wanted to make sure that y'all were good and resolved for the next season. If y'all get a next season. Because you guys want to constantly carry out a narrative that someone's constantly coming after y'all when nothing has been done to you. Nothing has been said to you, but your husband has always placed you in these types of situations that you never want to address him for. So I had completely forgot about this couple because they were forgettable, and it was Kimberly and Marcel. Their first time being on the show was nothing memorable. All they did was jump on the bandwagon to create an issue with Christina and Brandon. And we all know that the reason why Kimberly felt the way about Christina was because she didn't like that Christina did not defend her over being called mediocre for having an Android phone. And you know what their package was? Christina. And it's crazy as hell. Girl, you went through all of that. Girl. And then her moment that she had at the coffee shop for throwing all of Christina's clothes that she kept in pristine condition after their friendship ended. Had a huge moment of saying, this is all trash. Girl, bye. And y'all remember when Kimberly said it was one of Christina's friends who called her mediocre for having an Android phone? As it turns out, it was someone that they both knew. It was a mutual friend of theirs that said it. So my thing is this. Why are we still mad at Christina when she was the one who said it? Why get mad that she didn't defend it? Kimberly, do you believe you're mediocre? Are we really going to have this type of argument over an Android phone versus an iPhone? Do you know how many people have all types of devices in their household? It is not that damn deep. That's probably the reason why Kimberly wanted to wear out that fur jacket throughout the damn season and wanted to act like Christina followed her to become a content creator, because this was something that Kimberly was already doing. Girl, miss me, okay? And I don't believe that someone just came out and said you're mediocre because you have an Android phone. Again, Kimberly, you're not being honest. Kimberly, I'm not going to believe that someone just came after you and said you're mediocre over having an Android phone and you didn't say nothing to get that type of response. What we're not going to do is act like it's all Christina who used her emotions to be manipulative to get out of situations that she needs to be held accountable for, when Kobe have done it countless of times and Kimberly is about to do it in a minute. And Latoya, the way you do it, you try to use all of these big words you've learned when you became a doctor to get out of being called messy, to get out of being called fake. And Latoya, I don't care what you say, you did refer Kimberly to be a part of this show for her to go against Christina because you want someone to do your dirty work so you could come off unscathed, to be in that same narrative that you don't do fake, you don't do mess when you actually do it. You're very slimy about it. And when it comes to the friendship between Kimberly and Christina, Kimberly has always pointed out that she was the better friend than Christina. But I don't see how, and I'm not seeing any examples as to how Christina was this horrible friend when you're only describing one situation, her not defending you when you had an iPhone, her not defending you because you had an Android, and how you got mad that she was 2 hours late for a baby shower you threw. And Christina said, I don't think I have a voice when it comes to Kimberly because she has an alpha personality. She is sensitive. She's also emotional. And she has a high expectation about how she wants her friends to operate, which I can definitely see. Now, as far as her not recognizing she is high maintenance, it's like, oh, yes, you are. Kimberly does go hard for her friendships as she should, but when you don't do as well as she does, then she feels like you're not a good friend. And this is where we get Kimberly lacking in having a lot of support because her mother wasn't supportive. Her mother wasn't there. But it's like all y'all that have had abandonment issues, y'all cannot put that on Christina, okay? She's not someone that's going to replace the hole that you guys are trying to fill, okay? And yes, those were issues that Kimberly did not express to Christina, but she's not a mind reader. I don't know that you're feeling this way. So Christina feels like there is hope for us to repair. We do need to have a one-on-one. We can hear each other out without having extra voices. I also want to add that because you guys have a high expectations out of Christina, I don't think that she's able to reciprocate it because you guys are too busy telling her that she's not trying. When she is trying, it's not being understood because you guys are not as emotionally available to recognize her feelings when you want her to recognize yours. So it ended with Anthony and Branda's friendship and how Anthony always has Dick on his mind, which is so questionable, and how he is constantly throwing shots and how he's super braggadocious. And what was the purpose of him calling Bravo and Brandon eggplant riders? No reason. He just wanted to get under Bravo's skin. Don't make no sense whatsoever, because what did Bravo do to you? You know what? It just clicked to me. The reason why Anthony does the most is because he enjoys this show. He wants to be on this show. He is enjoying the attention he's gaining from this show, and he enjoys creating moments for him to be talked about on this show. But Brandon and Bravo did not feel no ways about the comment that he made about them because they figured he was just trolling. That is a part of Anthony's character. But even throughout the clips that have shown every single part of him stirring the pot, being messy, all this and the third, he still doesn't see that that's a problem. It's not a problem. They all know this is who you are, but you can't act like you don't do it. And still falling on deaf ears about what kind of points have y'all made that I'm so braggadocious. Bravo laid it all out. You always talking about who you know. You always talk about what you got going on. You always talk about how much money you're about to invest and how much money you're about to make. When nobody pretty much asks you about that. He thinks that he's asked about that. No, you be volunteering information that nobody's asking for. And I feel like He has a weird obsession of seeking validation from men, particularly men in this group, particularly Bravo and Brandon, in my opinion. He finds it him being overconfident. I find you being arrogant, but that's just you. And he doesn't want to be held accountable that he does always put himself in a competitive mindset with other people when nobody is coming for you. Nobody is trying to set up against you. This is not a contest. You name dropping everything you got going on does not intimidate any of these men here. All of these men have their own businesses. They have been successful in their businesses. They have their own names. You do the same exact thing that LaToya does, believing that everybody's supposed to run in fear because LaToya is a doctor and that everybody else is beneath her. Nobody else has no other successful careers because being a doctor is the best career you can ever be in. And I don't like that. Both you and LaToya have an elitist attitude that you believe everybody's supposed to just bow down and kiss your feet and respect the king and queen, but you guys aren't the king and queen. And that's how y'all felt that was supposed to be y'all's name when y'all were brought on this show. Turns out y'all was background characters, okay? But that was pretty much it, okay? Nothing else got resolved, I believe, and there was nothing else to say to Anthony because this is how he is. Take it or leave it, okay? And that was pretty much the end of season 2. I'm glad it's over. And then after that reunion aired, it was confirmed that Christina and Brandon have officially divorced. And I'm super happy for Christina, okay? Now she knows what not to do with in a relationship. She knows what she needs to be looking out for and also how she should be appreciated and supported. But that was pretty much the end of season 2. I feel like the entire season was boring. It was repetitive. If y'all gonna come back with a season 3, then y'all need to step it up, okay? Take away some of these characters who are not going to add anything or scrap the whole franchise altogether, okay? But y'all, that's it. That's it. I have nothing else to give. Please stay tuned for my next video. I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.